It's about that time.
City Views.
What's happening in your city?
City Views.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to City Views. I'm Jacques Williams, your host. Wait a minute. I'm not Jacques Williams. I'm Dan Morrison, the producer. Jacques' not here right now, but I'm going to put the show together anyway. As you know, the studio's been closed for COVID since quite a long time ago, so we've been producing segments on the fly and posting them to YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, you should. Please do. Anyway, in honor of Black History Month, we decided to make a show featuring the beautiful social justice mural that we have painted downtown that was painted last spring and launched or unveiled on Juneteenth. So we got a little Juneteenth for you in February. So today's show, we're going to see Effie Mwando, one of the founders of Our Culture is Beautiful, is going to speak at the celebration about standing up and speaking up for change. And after that, we're going to jump back to before the mural was painted and air an interview with the team who designed and implemented and planned the mural and got the whole thing going. And it's who we've got to thank for that beautiful piece of art we have downtown. Then after that, we're going to jump back into the unveiling celebration and hear Reverend Angaza Mwando talk about the history of Juneteenth and the importance of saying yes to diversity. After that, we'll see a couple of art segments to that celebration. One is a song by Ysanne Marshall, and another is a dance routine by the Nutmeg Ballet Company. And sprinkled in between some of those segments, we'll have little promo clips that are part of an interview with Ysanne Marshall, who's the director of Kids Play Museum. That whole interview, it's about a 30-minute interview, is on our YouTube channel. Finally, we're going to round out the show with a couple of videos from Culture for a Cause that are part of our John Brown Project, which is a community arts initiative that celebrates equality and diversity in our community. One of the videos is an explainer video that seeks to set the record straight about John Brown, at least a little bit. And the other video is part of the musical documentary that we're producing that traces American music history from 1619 to hip-hop through the song John Brown's Body, which was a popular Civil War song. So the segment we'll see today is of the rock and roll part, and I hope you like it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey, everybody. That's what I'm talking about. It's about joy. It's about happiness. It's about peace. And most of all, it's about love. Today is representing unity. Today is a beginning of great things to come in the city of Torrington. Let's give it a round of applause. Woo. Yes, my name is Effie Mwando, the beautiful wife of this beautiful, handsome young man. And through the efforts of just not giving up, because we believe that diversity is the key to moving forward and embracing what's different. So we never gave up, and we don't want to give up. And with the help of everyone that's here today, we will not give up. We will continue to move forward. We will continue to bounce forward, and we will allow our resiliency to exist in Torrington or in any northwest corner, and in fact, in all 39 towns and all the towns of Connecticut, because it's about bringing change. So each time that you drive by this mural, I want you to think about diversity. I want you to think about love. I want you to think about looking at each other and talking. Have a conversation, not just, walk by your colleague, not just ignore your neighbor, but get to know the people in your community. Get to know the people that's on your job. Even when you go to church, get to know those individuals. Get to know others that might be different than you, speak a different language. Hairstyle is a little different than yours. So I wore my crown today because the new Crown Act was passed in Connecticut. So again, when you know it's about change and it represents your sons and your daughters, speak up and speak out. Here we got John Brown. He represented, born here in Torrington, and he wanted change to happen. Then we have Martin Luther King that never gave up, always was out there fighting for what was justice, what was right. And then we have Amanda Gorham. She's like, say, I'm young. I don't know what you all talking about from the 60s and the 70s, but I can tell you what's happening in the year 2000. So all of you that are part of this new generation, speak up and be a part of change. And when we become a part of change, then things begin to happen. Laws begin to change. People begin to, give me your hand, baby. People begin to hold hands and love. Couples begin to stay together. Families begin to stay together. We don't want families to be broken. We want families to, come on, man, together. So we can do that by helping each other whenever the need is. I'll turn it back over to Angaza.
Yeah. All right now.
It's about that time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of City Views. I'm Jacques Williams, your host, and City Views is being brought to you by our sponsor, Toth Insurance Agency, located at 1151 East Main Street. Better protection, better value. And on today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a very, very special segment for various reasons, and you will find out during the course of this interview why I am so excited about it. We have three very unique individuals with us here today, and they're going to be talking to you about various things, but the number one topic will be the Martin Luther King Mural Project. And we have on the call with us here today, ladies and gentlemen, the leader, founder, and let's just say overall manager of Our Culture is Beautiful. Effie Lucas is here with us. Also on today's show is the newest member of the Northwest Connecticut Arts Council, Ysanne Marshall, and the curator of the MLK Mural Project. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Conway is here with us on City Views. Folks, how are you today?
Great. Thumbs up to you.
I'm really anxious to get started here because there's so much to talk about. And Effie, I am going to turn the floor over to you so you can inform our audience to the great things that are going on and taking place in the city of Torrington.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jock, for that introduction and all of the team players that are a part of this exciting event that's about to unveil and unfold in the great city of Torrington, Connecticut, this beautiful northwest corner. We are excited and looking forward to this great opportunity of having what we call the MLK mural, and this huge mural that's going to represent cultural diversity. Also have different quotes that talks about unity, love, beauty, togetherness, and just bringing everyone together once this is taking place in year 2021. I mean, this is like the greatest unseen gift that can happen to Torrington, because Torrington is such a diverse population and our culture is beautiful. We are a nonprofit organization that promote cultural diversity. So we want everyone to continue with that conversation, embracing culture, embracing tradition, embracing who you are as a human being. And by having this large mural display, no matter what size it is, it's all about you and it's about me. And guess what? It's about us as a community, us as a society, us as a state. And this mural project is all over the state of Connecticut. And so that's what makes it unique. So you're going to be able to be a part of history. You're going to be able to travel to Torrington to see this unveiling. Then you can go to Manchester. Then you can go to New Haven. But you will have this wonderful plan for the summer and the fall of this year to just go to each of those points and just be marveled at what you see, and then create those ongoing conversations with your family and your friends. And in order for this to happen, we need artists, we need you as a community to continue to keep the word going forward. And that's why you see me smiling. That's why you see the energy rolling and it's all generating from my body to you. So as you watch this and you listen to it, I want you to feel the same vibe. I want you to feel the same energy and the motivation and the commitment to bring about change in the town where you live, as well as that great city of Torrington, Connecticut.
Well, I think the excitement for the project is definitely contagious, and it's part of what has been happening in Torrington with its burgeoning art scene. And I want to bring Ysanne in on that point because as the newest employee with the Northwest Connecticut Arts Council, talk to our audience a little bit about the Arts Council's mission and the role that they have played in providing a platform for artists, not only in Torrington, but throughout the region.
Thank you. And thank you again for having us here for this wonderful conversation and vision going forward. My name is Ysanne. I am the Art Community Impact Coordinator at the Northwest Connecticut Art Council. Our mission is to have inclusion and to show that there are opportunities in the arts in many different ways. This is another way that we're able to support and show what art can do in the community as well as an individual artist. So my key role is for this specific project is to connect the community and engage the community in a conversation, to participate and have a voice in a unified message here in Torrington. And it's beautiful to see in the last couple of weeks, we had a community survey to, like I said, get our voices heard and have a unified message of the unity here in Torrington. And we have over 100 surveys that came in within the last couple of weeks. So I'm really proud to see the conversation even that has for even the people that may have not partaken and just saw the engagement and saw the movement and hearing the conversation. So it's just been a beautiful momentum to see this project start to unfold. Thankful that Matt had came to the art organization with this opportunity to continue with our mission statement. So just thankful to be in this position right now to work with Our Culture is Beautiful and to work with CT Rise Up. And it's just beautiful. And to work with you guys at City View and starting to connect with you guys and seeing other opportunities and how we can. The build up to the project of the unveiling of the mural, to selecting the artist in the community. And so that's our next step. We're going to be reaching out to the community for emerging artists to assist the leading artists in creating the mural. So there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of resources here at the Northwest Art Council as well. So thank you.
And I think it's amazing, Ysanne, that the majority, or should I say 100% of the work that takes place at the Northwest Connecticut Arts Council is done by a staff of 3 people. Talk a little bit about that, and the types of innovative concepts that you guys have to use in order to, especially through the pandemic, resources have been scarce. However, you all have found a way to keep the arts movement going.
Yeah, trial and error is one thing. It's beautiful to be able to work with fellow artists as well in the actual organization, to have these different ways of thinking and different digitized now ways of communicating. So using our immediate resources, even from Zoom to understanding how a QR code could work. The simplicity and making it accessible to people is one way that we're engaging people. So if something is easy to get to, usually people are going to do it because it's like right there. So finding different alternatives to communicate, going to people. We found in terms of calling people, having a conversation, hey, what's up? How you doing? That going back to basic, having an actual relationship is not just about you taking a survey. We want to hear what you're thinking. We want to see what's going on your side of Torrington. Let's see if there is something we can do better. So those are the different ways that we're navigating. So it is trial and error, but at the same time, it's a genuine organic vibe or organic energy that has been naturally blossoming.
And big shout outs to Steph and Maddie.
Yes. I am in the office with them now.
Matt, dude.
Hey, what's up?
Yo, like, I don't even know where to begin talking to you. I mean, this is fantastic, first of all.
Thank you.
But what made you bring it to Torrington?
So, our goal is to get it across every, as many towns as we can. And, ironically, we were starting conversations with the Northwest Connecticut Arts Council before this project really took off, talking about, how can we elevate public art in the Northwest corner of the state through murals. And after we unveiled our first MLK mural in Manchester on MLK Day this year, this really seemed like the first fit for us to dive in together and do a project together. I know that there was previous work trying to get a Black Lives Matter mural going in Torrington. There was another mural that through, the building being sold had to be taken down. So there was already a lot of pent up energy to make impactful and meaningful public art happen in Torrington. And so when we launched the MLK 39 Racial Equity Tour project, it was just a natural fit. Let's bring it to Torrington. Let's drive these dialogues on racial equality in a community that, historically there has been divide, and public art is such a beautiful way to bring all human beings together to have those conversations. And this is going to be something that's going to be in the community for 15, 20 years to come. So it's going to be an everyday reminder for everyone living in Torrington that Torrington believes in equality and Torrington believes in togetherness. Everything that our culture is beautiful represents, we are now putting up on a giant mural for everyone to see.
I think the premise of your initiative, it's what's most attractive about it at this particular time.
Mm.
How do you feel about the opposition, and what has been your prescriptions for overcoming those objections going forward in the implementation of a project of this magnitude?
You know, this is an invitation to the opposition to come and have honest dialogue. You know, this isn't pointing anybody out. This is, you know, open to the public to have conversation. But to be frank, you know, we are seeing roadblocks. There are communities where, you know, certain political parties don't want this to happen in their town. They specifically have told us, and their city council have told us, we don't want this in our town. But you know what we do about that? It just fires us up even more to make it happen. So we identify alternative funding resources, we identify private buildings, and we just go out there and work with the grassroots community to make it happen, whether the city wants to sponsor it, the city or town wants to sponsor it or not. So, you know, we look at the opposition and, you know, we say, you know, sorry, you don't want to be a part of it, but it's going to happen anyway. And, you know, we frankly think of this as a way, you know, now we're demonstrating to people that communities in Connecticut are equal, you know, and everybody has a voice.
Change gonna come though, one way or another.
And
Hopefully, pardon me?
I said, and Jock, and you're right, change will come. And this is why I'm so excited about the mural being in 39 towns, because it represents the upcoming generation. If we don't have these talks, if we don't have these displays, if it doesn't happen, then the new upcoming generation stays the same. This is about change. Change is doing something that includes everyone, because years ago, individuals may not have embraced biracial relationships, but now in 2021, everyone is connected. People are marrying outside of their race, outside of their culture, and then they're having children. These children are growing up in a diverse population. The United States and our community does not look the way that it was 20 years ago. So now you have 18-year-olds, 20-year-old individuals that says, where do we belong? Where do we fit? So having something display that everyone can see, that says we are all together, we are all one, we are all striving to bring about change, so everyone is treated fairly and equally. And having this mural display, whether it's in the northern states or the southern states or western or eastern, it's all about saying, let's all come together and let's start talking. And yeah, you're gonna have those individuals that say, I hate it, I don't want to see this every day. But guess what, you still have to see me, whether you want to see me or not, whether you like my language, whether you like my hairstyle, whether you like the food that I eat. There is this restaurant there. You still have to drive by it. You may not want it to open, but it opens, because that's every person deserve to have their own business, whether or not you like it or not. And so we have to begin to open up our minds and change that perspective about what we dislike and what is our reason. What's the core reason why you want to not have a mural or not be open to change that's coming in your town or your city? So I just wanted to add that.
Well, that's a very critical piece to this, because I do believe that part of the arts renaissance that has been taking place in Torrington has been on the premise of not only showing arts as an economic developer and driver, but also as a cultural awareness piece. And part of that awareness piece is recognizing that most of these changes that are happening and that we look to hopefully sustain will have to take on some type of political structure. And getting to that point, Effie, I think I want to take a little bit of time to talk to our audience about how our culture is beautiful has advocated for those processes and implemented into the basic structure of Torrington those programs and initiatives that are dealing directly with those issues that you're hoping will be highlighted through a public arts project of this nature. For example, your Citizens Review Board for the Police Commission, your advocacy for the educational programs and the diversification there too. I think that's part of community activism that's necessary in order to overcome some of the objectives that these community arts projects engender.
Okay, so one of the things, couple of things that's been going on with our culture is beautiful because again, we are based in Torrington, so we are a part of the education system in a sense of actually before COVID, we were going into the elementary school and the high school and vocational technical school to talk to the students there about diversity, and actually went there and had sessions. It was lined up for 10 sessions, one session a week to talk to students, high school students, about diversity, about bullying, about gender identity, but having the conversations so that students can feel comfortable with who they are and really having a place where they can feel free and openly to have this discussion. So, and even after COVID, we still continue to do virtual sessions. And we also did it through African drumming as well. So not only is continuing workshops with talking to the administrators and the teachers around equity and inclusion, but also with students. And then we went to the Kids Play Museum, and a part of the thing is doing storytelling. So we design the storytelling included with African drumming, again, to talk about, have these conversations, talk about history, talk about tradition, talk and allow individuals to talk about themselves and embrace their own roots and history within their own families. We've also been an advocate, and as you were saying, with the talking about the police and talking about changes and what's coming forth together collaboratively. So when we have conversations in the community at large, it's in a way as a positive environment to talk about these changes, working together as partners, not fighting against each other and beating each other down, but saying, hey, let's come together and let's really talk. What are some of the unmet needs in our communities that our residents and adults and youth are talking about? And how can we line that up? As we met with our police department, which we were doing it once a month until COVID, and we're starting to reinitiate that again, but doing it through virtual sessions. And not only that, we talk about health issues. So this whole thing now that's coming with COVID, what about all of those individuals that are not able to be vaccinated? So we're part of the Charlotte Hungerford, Harvard Health, collaborative there in working and getting out into the community to talk about those that are unvaccinated, those that are skeptical about taking the vaccine, those that are being tested and not tested, but just education. Sometimes even just that's why this mural project is so important, because people don't really see, they see one way and not really opening up their minds and looking at all human beings and really respecting what people are actually going through when it comes to education and the system, whether it comes to health and the services, and then housing, and then financial. There's a huge wealth gap between individuals. And if we really sit down and look at it, and I'm a real, I talk about it a lot when I do diversity workshops. When we think about economics and financial pay scales, you might be really surprised at the difference. I know women, there's this whole thing about women not getting equal pay, for the guys. We all know that story. And that's a conversation that's been happening a long time. But it also happens with minorities too. So this mural project, and again with art. So we know if we draw and we paint, that's a part of meditation and mindfulness and healing. So we connect the art, the drawing, the painting, the writing, the dancing, the music, right? The poetry, all of that is a method of mindfulness and healing because people can express themselves that they may not verbally do it with you in words, but they can do it in art. They can do it in storytelling. They can do it in the drums. They can do it in all sorts of ways. So we can look at this mural as a piece, a conversation that when you stand back and you look at it, everybody's going to have a different thought in their head about what they see and what they feel and how they're going to respond to it. And we hope that the response of it would be, let's bring about unity. Let's bring us all together as one. And that's my piece.
Well, I hope that this brings the same type of notoriety that's been allotted to 5 Points Center for the Visual Arts, because I think that these public works projects, these community art projects, they do provide outreach. And that's something that's vital to our city because, let's be honest, we need investment in our city. But what better way can you get investment than by opening up the artist community to these types of initiatives that bring people together? So I wanted to commend you all for all your efforts. It's so vital at this point in time when we're coming out of this pandemic. People are reevaluating their perspectives. They are reassessing their priorities. And for Torrington to be in the forefront of this type of cultural change, I think is vital to not only the city of Torrington, but the region as well, as we try to grow the economy and enhance the quality of life for our residents. So thank you guys once again. We appreciate it. And we want to encourage all of you to continue to check out more episodes of City Views on our YouTube channel at cityviews-ct, or you can check out our website at cityviews-ct.com. In the meantime, we're wishing you the best, and we'll see you back for more right here on City Views.
All right now. I thank God for just being here, and I'm just happy to see all of you. It's just, when we talk about diversity, I'm looking at it. And so the mural represents all that. I'm one of the co-founders, along with my wife, of Our Culture is Beautiful. And, you know, our vision just to foster a vibrant community of leaders and just to continue to move on and see what it's going to be like. So today, we're kind of remembering Juneteenth Day. And how did Juneteenth begin? It began with the Emancipation Proclamation in January 1st, 1863, 2.5 years later. On June 19th, Major General Gordon Granger came to Galveston, Texas, to inform a reluctant community that President Abraham Lincoln had freed the slaves 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, and to press locals to comply with the directive. On this day, Granger announced General Order Number 3. Before Granger's declaration, there was estimated 250,000 slaves residing in Texas, according to historian Henry Louis Gates. What caused the delay in Texas receiving the news? Some said, well, it could have been a Texas geographic isolation, may have played a role in the delay, but there was a delay. According to Juneteenth.com, some accounts say the delay was because a messenger was murdered. He was murdered on his way to Texas with the news, while others say the news was deliberately withheld. Even with the order, slavery did not end in Texas overnight. According to reports by Gates, many slave owners traveled to Texas with their slaves to escape regulations enforced by Union Army in other states for some. And so why do we call it Juneteenth? Because Juneteenth is a combination of June and the 19th in honor of the day that Granger announced the abolition of slavery in Texas. This day is also called Freedom Day. It's ironic that December the 13th, 1865, Congress abolished slavery, with Amendment 13. One of the sayings I have to embody is the struggle continue. I know that the president signed into order that today would be Juneteenth, and it's going to be acknowledged all around the country. So we have a holiday, something to participate in, something that some people want to, in a way, celebrate. Frederick Douglass said, "Those who deprecate agitation are like the men who want the soil without digging up the ground. They want the rain without the thunder and the lightning." This struggle may be a physical one or it may be a moral one, but it must be a struggle because power don't conceive nothing without a demand. You're showing your demand by showing up today. You're showing your demand by saying yes to diversity, yes to cultural equality, yes to all of these things. And that's one of the things that we're looking at. So the struggle continues. It continues. People of color have felt the effects of systemic racism for years. From slavery up until the present time, it's been a part of our culture. We lived with it through Emmett Till lynching, the brutality on Rodney King, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Rayshon Brooks, and countless others. But as Maya Angelou says, still I rise, still I rise, still I rise. We want to rise as a people. We want to see diversity represented in all communities. Equality must be real, and we want to see all members of the community rise. There is a diverse representation of people here today. Collaboration effort was sustained. Look at this mural. It took a lot of groups coming together. When you look at this beautiful, awesome display, it's because of folk coming together, different groups. So as we move on, as we look at this unveiling, people, so no matter people, what race, color, or creed, it's all about racial equality. We're going to live together in the community and survive in the community. We must work together and share this community together. Regardless of where we work or what station of life we live in, we want freedom of cultural expression, and we want it now. It's nothing else this pandemic should have shown us. It should have shown us that we must work together for the common good of humanity. So even if we celebrate this particular triumph for Black people, our desire is to celebrate all culture. That's why we call ourselves, our culture is beautiful, because we recognize all cultures, and everybody has a station in this. Recognizing, as I often say, America ain't no melting pot. It's like a salad bowl where vegetables maintain its individual flavor, but continues to the overall quality of the salad. A cucumber is still a cucumber. Lettuce is still lettuce. And a tomato is still a tomato. I'm Black. You may be Puerto Rican, white, Chinese, Colombian, Irish, Native American. It really don't matter. We're in this country together. Maintain your cultural identity, but come together as a collective community in this post-pandemic age. Let's give unity, harmony, a change. Let's recognize freedom and justice for all.
It's about that time.
And really kind of looking at what was happening in our community and thinking about focusing economic redevelopment on young children. Like, who is our future? Our future is children. What is the future for Torrington? These kids.
City Views.
Grandiose idea of having our next singer perform from the window. However, we might have to hold that for another day. In the meantime, we want to bring to you the newest member of the Northwest Connecticut Arts Council. Her name is Ysanne Marshall, and she has brought so much enthusiasm to our community. She's an artist, she's a businesswoman, and she's going to perform the legendary song originally done by Sam Cooke entitled Gonna Come.
Good afternoon, everyone. You guys are so beautiful. Happy Juneteenth to everyone. It's a beautiful day out. Thankful for all you beautiful faces for supporting and honoring culture. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me just say that it's also been an honor coming here as an arts community impact coordinator with the Art Council to connect the arts, the businesses, the resources together. It's been such a blessing. Of course, there's bumps that comes on the way, that is life. But it's been such a great welcoming community and a part of this project. And just to give you some more background on the mural, how it came to these images, over 100 participants in the Torrington area participated in a survey that was put together by us. And the three images behind me, the three icons, the three leaders of this movement, Martin Luther King, John Brown, and Amanda Gorham had come up in our surveys. So this is the community speaking. So I'm just so thankful for that opportunity to help move along and help bring people together to have this beautiful mural. And again, shout out to Connecticut Murals. I was born by the river in a little tent, open just like the river I've been at ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change is going to. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard to live, and I'm afraid to die. You gotta know it's the it's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes, we will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keeps telling me down. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes, we will. Then I go to my brother, and I said, brother, help me, please. And he winds up knocking me down on my knees. couldn't last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know the change don't come. Oh, yes, we do. Thank you.
We really want to make sure that everyone feels welcome here. And that's like a really big thing for me, is that this museum is for every child in this community, like every kid. Getting kids back on track is critically important. And if they can be here and get used to playing alongside a kid, not having to keep the 6 feet distance, I think that's going to change change their experience going back to school in the fall.
If you let me set this up for you, we'll be seeing next our Nutmeg Dancers.
Was John Brown a terrorist? No, at least not by any formal definition. According to the U.S. Code, terrorism involves violent acts that break the law and appear to be intended to intimidate or coerce people, government policy, or to disrupt the process of government by mass destruction, assassination, or kidnapping. But before we go any further, let's ask and answer another question to sort of set the stage. What were border ruffians? Leading up to the Civil War, border ruffians were pro-slavery raiders from Missouri, a pro-enslavement state, who terrorized the Kansas Territory through violence that peaked in the 4 years between 1854 and 1858. They were trying to force acceptance of slavery in an anti-slavery territory. Armed with guns, knives, and other weapons, these terrorists forcefully interfered with elections by preventing freemen from voting and by illegally voting themselves. They also committed acts of violent terror on Kansas settlers, taking lives and destroying property. Their violence spurred the phrase, "Bleeding Kansas," which is a label often hung on John Brown for the Potawatomi incident. Border ruffians violently attacked Lawrence, Kansas in May of 1856 after being incited by Missouri's U.S. Senator David Atchison, a border ruffian himself who became one of their rhetorical leaders.
Yes, ruffians, draw your revolvers and bowie knives and cool them in the heart's blood of all those damned dogs that dare defend the damned breathing hole of hell.
Wow. Another choice quote from the pro-slavery Atchison encouraged Missourians to defend their institution with a bayonet and with blood, and if necessary,
to kill every goddamned abolitionist in the district.
Border ruffians illegally disrupted elections, violently threatened, injured, and killed peaceful citizens in order to force enslaving humans as a government policy. That meets the definition to a T. So that was the basic landscape at the time. Rabid racism, violence, lawlessness, and hate. So let's get back to John Brown. John Brown's sons moved to Kansas along with a lot of other people from the abolitionist states in the East to populate the new territory with anti-slavery voters. They'd set out to promote equality through legal voting. The Brown boys quickly became targets of these terrorist border ruffians, and that's why John Brown headed out there. Brown is often called a terrorist because of the Potawatomi Creek incident, where he and his men killed 5 border ruffians who had planned to murder Brown's sons and families. You can even read about it in the newspaper. This act was murder, but it wasn't terrorism. Brown did not seek to intimidate or coerce a civilian population. He did not seek to influence the policy of a government by intimidation or coercion, nor did he try to affect the conduct of a government by mass destruction, assassination, or kidnapping. He didn't do any of that, even though he had ample opportunity. At Potawatomi, he set out to protect his family. Brown's goal was to disrupt the institution of slavery, not through terrorism, but through slave revolts, where enslaved people walked away from plantations en masse, making the system of slavery broken and hopelessly dysfunctional. His raid on Harper's Ferry, Virginia, was an attempt to ignite a massive walkout of Virginia's enslaved population. His efforts to give weapons to these people was a way to provide them with some sort of defense against the brutal system of slavery. He never killed or kidnapped slaveholding people to intimidate them into freeing the humans they had enslaved. Instead, he attempted to empower the people to take their freedom back. And Brown wanted them to be able to protect themselves from those who had enslaved them. In the conversation about terrorism, it's often said that one side's terrorist is another side's freedom fighter. That cannot be said about border ruffians. They were most certainly not freedom fighters. They were domestic terrorists laying the blueprint for KKK violence. Slavery is terrorism. John Brown was a counter-terrorist. John Brown was a freedom fighter. And John Brown was right.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on.
So actually this vision started before the pandemic. We actually bought this building in 2019 from the Salvation Army. It had been on early plans for the museum, and then it kind of went away. You know, we were like, oh, maybe we can't do it. And then in 2019, we said, no, we have to do this. This space is really amazing. You know, right next to our original gallery, and quite frankly, we were running out of space.
When rock and roll took over the airwaves in the 1950s, it was called a cultural collision of white and black music. But this new music felt a little different. After the Great Migration of the earlier generation, diversity was baked into cities like St. Louis, Memphis, Detroit, and New York, where early rock and roll flourished.
You champions of freedom, go strike for truth today. Sell the death blow to oppression in the present time and place. Dawn of old John Brown is brightened into day, and his soul is marching on. Marching on and on and on and on. Yeah, this one.
It's about that time.
City Views, City Views.
What's happening in your city?
City Views, City Views. City Views, City Views.
You got love for your city?
City Views, City Views.